Yo, as always, like, share, subscribe. Now let's just get into it. So, Michigan just defeated Nebraska in Nebraska 32-27. And this game was this game was wild and crazy. That's why I got the madness shirt on, cuz this was madness. This was some madness we saw today. Just unbelievable types of plays, and shout out to Dylan Raiola. He didn't give up. I got to give it to him. He didn't give up. That boy kept fighting, and he's going to be a good player. Like, can't take nothing away from him. He's going to be a good player in the future. He's good now, but he's going to get better. But the real thing about this game was Michigan kind of dominated this game, but kept making mistakes and little errors to give Nebraska more chances. Michigan gets up to a 10-0 lead, and Bryce fumbles. Nebraska gets a field goal or a touchdown, end up tying it up. Michigan gets a long run from Haynes, and then Nebraska gets a Hail Mary, which I'm going to break down a little bit later on. Hail Mary, we go in 17-17. Then the second half, Michigan pretty much takes control of the game for the most part. And Nebraska is trying to catch up, and they really just couldn't. But they fought to the last second. They didn't quit. Whether it was Jordan Marshall making a big-time run, Haynes, Bryce, Michigan was just killing that clock and moving the ball in the second half and trying to kill the clock and making some mistakes on defense here and there. And Dylan Raiola making plays, and they really ran out of time, So it ends up 30-27. Now let me get into this. So I guess we'll start with the defense. Pressure. Michigan, if we would have lost this game, it would have been a travesty. Because I don't think I've ever seen a game where a quarterback gets sacked probably 8 times and probably could have been sacked 11 times, and they still are in the game somehow and still are very close to having a chance to win the game. It would have been a travesty, because you had Barham with a sack and a half, I believe. Rashawn Benny sack. Jimmy Rolder sack. Hausman a sack. Derek Moore, I think he had 2 sacks. Dominic Nichols a sack. It was just so many sacks. Like it's the game started off where we missed a couple sacks. And then after that, it was just like a sack party. Like everybody was getting in on it. There was multiple times in this game where there were 3-4 guys collapsing the pocket, and Dylan Raiola just giving up because it's just there's nothing there. They've killed my whole offensive line, but he just wouldn't quit. He wouldn't quit. Even if he gets sacked, it's a third and long, 3rd and 15. He wouldn't quit. Now, we had some bonehead penalties. We had Hillman with a real bonehead penalty, which ended up in a touchdown when it should have been a punt. It was 3rd and 16. We stopped them, and then Hillman gets a taunting call for going like this to the Nebraska sideline, which I don't know what. I saw them doing that all game. Not sure what it means, but yeah, it burnt us and it cost us. Can't be doing bonehead stuff like that. Not when the game isn't out of reach. Now, if we up 30, feel free, but we ain't up 30. What else? Let's see. Nebraska missed a field goal early, which helped. Obviously, 30-27. That field goal would have came in clutch. We had a few times where there was pressure, but no sack. You see, when you get that pressure, Mangum missed a tackle, and then a 20-yard gain. We had somebody else miss a tackle. That's why I was saying pressure's good, but I need the sack. Like, pressure's good, but you can have pressure and then they break a tackle and then it's a sack. I mean, and then it's a big play. It's not a sack. I need the sack to make sure we get those. Now it's negative yards, instead of second and whatever, it's second and 15, second and 18, But before I even forget, Jayshon Barham, that boy is balling. Barham's stock is going way up. That boy finna he finna make him some money. If he wasn't a first round pick, he's playing himself into a first round pick. Like, that boy is balling on that edge. I don't know if he wants to play edge because at the beginning of the season, when the offseason, they were talking about moving him to edge, and he didn't really want to do it. But I think they told him, we need you on the edge. Like, we need you out there. And that's the best thing for you, brother. Be happy that they got you on that edge, because they're doing something that's going to make you a rich, rich man next year. Coming up in March or whenever the draft is, you about to get paid, brother. You ought to be thanking them coaches for putting you on the edge, because you about to get paid. That's where you supposed to be. That boy was balling. So I don't want to even make sure I give him his credit that he was balling. We had another third down, and it was Hillman. Hillman was up on the line, and when the ball is snapped, he's supposed to bail out. And I'm gonna be real. The play design is pretty wild, because that's a long way to bail out, because he's supposed to drop to deep middle, and so he starts to bail out, but he runs into the ref, and then you see the touchdown go to the middle where he's supposed to be. It wasn't his. He ran into the ref. I guess you could say that's his fault, not knowing where the ref was, but things like that happen. But the play call itself was kind of wild, but I guess if he's dropping back, Dylan Raiola probably won't even think to throw that. But since he got knocked up with the ref, it was kind of wide open. That's what the miscommunication was. It wasn't really a miscommunication. It was just Hillman got caught up on the ref. We had the Hail Mary debacle, because that was a debacle. So there's for them to get that Hail Mary, there were multiple things that had to happen. The first thing that had to happen was Biff Poggi makes a mistake by not calling timeout after third down. After we stopped them on third down, there's about 30 seconds left, I believe. Instead of calling timeout, he thinks that Nebraska's going to go into the half. And Matt Rule, shout out to him, because he masterclassed him on that one. Matt Rule calls timeout with 1 second left to give him the chance of Hail Mary. So that was smart on his part, because if Biff calls timeout, then they're not going to throw the Hail Mary, because if they don't get it, now Michigan has the ball on like Nebraska's 40 or 45, So that was the first thing, Biff's mistake. Then you go to Wink's mistake by he drops not just our DBs, but he drops Barham into coverage. Big mistake. He's your best pass rusher. Put him on the line. TJ Guy's dropping out. TJ Guy is an edge rusher. These dudes, when the Hail Mary touchdown happens, Barham, and TJ Guy are 50 yards downfield. They don't know what to do out there. They're edge rushers. They're not used to having to make a play and knock a ball down. So that's one of his mistakes right there. That's on Wink for putting those dudes. Let them pass rush, especially Barham. We need him to be he's the best pass rusher. Don't drop him out. Now he's 50 yards downfield where he's not good in coverage anyway. Let him do what he does. And that's rush the passer. TJ Guy, he's 50 yards downfield. He don't know what to do. Let them dudes do what they do, So that was the other mistake. Now the final mistake on the Hail Mary that really killed us on that play, Jaden Mangum goes up high to intercept it. And He doesn't get it, and the Nebraska guy pulls it down and falls back in the end zone. So Mangum should have knocked it down. He should have came with the super SWAT and knocked it down. That's what he should have done. But he doesn't. Touchdown Nebraska. We go in the half 17-17. So that's a mistake. Who else? Cole Sullivan, Jair Hill jumped a out route like second quarter, and he tips it. Cole Sullivan comes up with a monster interception. Big takeaways from this game. Barham is balling. Barham is hands down maybe our best player on the team. I would not even defense. He might be the best player on the team. Shout out to Barham. Cole Sullivan is a starter. It's time to start him. He's balling. He single-handedly blew up 2 screens by himself. Plus he had a interception. And that wasn't an easy interception off of that tip. When he caught that, when he picked that, I was like, whoa. Like, that was not an easy interception. Cole Sullivan is balling. We need his speed, and we need his anticipation. Like, so shout out to that brother, because he is balling. Late in the game, when Nebraska got their last touchdown, Dominic Nichols, he had a strip sack. Big play by him. And Nebraska's got offensive lineman caught it, which was a headsy play by them because Dylan Raiola gets the third and long, and then they end up scoring a touchdown. Luckily, it didn't cost us the game. But yeah, that's the thing. Like, Michigan had some bonehead plays, whether it was offside, some defensive, not holding, but pass interference, the miscommunications, I guess you would say. But besides those, Michigan's defense, if they can just clean up some of this stuff, this defense can be really good like we expected it to be. But they have to clean it up. Clean some of this stuff up, and the tackling needs to get better. Ernest Hausman, I'm not sure what's going on with him, but early in the game, he was hesitating a lot on passes where he's seeing the ball is in the air, and it's almost like he's looking, and he's hesitating to see if the guy catches it. Bro, so the guy catches it, and he can get 4 or 5 more yards because Hausman isn't flying to the play. Like, I don't know why he's hesitating so much on some of these plays. Like, bro, you see he's passing it to him. He's the only receiver over there. Fly over there. By the time the ball gets there, you'll be right there to make the tackle. But you're hesitating so he can catch it, and now he gets 3, 4, 5 yards. Because you're hesitating for no reason. Fly over there, bro. Like, I'm not sure why Hausman is hesitating so much. But I'm still not seeing the defense fly to the ball like I want to. It seems like maybe it's getting a little better, but it's not all the way there. And I'm going to keep talking about it until I'm happy with it. Sorry, everybody who doesn't like it. But for the most part, defense played pretty well. You know, they just got to clean it up. They just got to clean up some of this stuff. And some of these guys got to get more reps and get more comfortable in the system. Let's see. At first, the offensive line was kind of struggling the first couple drives, I'd say. Then you had Goodwin. Goodwin can't catch. He can get open, but he can't catch. We had drops. We had multiple drops. It seemed like the only guys that had sure hands were Marlon Klein and Hogan Hansen, or Marshall. The tight ends were catching it. The tight ends didn't have a problem, but Samaj dropped pass, and some of these passes are like, to our receivers, it's almost like there is no easy pass. Like, there's no easy pass, whether it's a 5-yard pass, whether it's a pass into the flat, whether it's a 30-yard corner route. It don't matter. None of these are easy catches for these guys, and it's killing me. Goodwin, I didn't see him after he dropped a touchdown from Bryce in the first half, and he dropped a pass that he dove for that was right in the breadbasket, diving like this. It's like he didn't have a chance to catch it, but it was right in the breadbasket. So I'm not sure what they're going to do with him. He might be a practice player. I'm just going to be real. Everybody that practices well isn't a game day player. That's just how football goes. So I don't know what they're going to do with Goodwin, if they're going to keep giving him chances. After he dropped that touchdown, I didn't see him the rest of the day, really. No passes going to him because Bryce probably could have had maybe 100 more yards throwing if guys catch the ball. But nothing is easy with these receivers. Yeah, I mean, I hate to say it like that, but that's what's going on. So we got a field goal. Bryce, and shout out to Zavada. Zavada didn't miss any field goals. They were all good, and he kicked some long ones. So shout out to Zavada for that. But we started out the score with the field goal. Then Bryce had a big TD run. Then Bryce had a fumble. So he's a young player. We got to take the good with the bad. These are part of his growing pains. The wide receiver style screens to Justice Haynes, I think it's about time to scrap that. It hasn't worked all year. It might be about time to scrap that for a while and then surprise somebody with it. Now we did see a running back screen to Haynes in the fourth quarter that worked well. I'd like to see us use more of that. He's a running back. Use him with running back screens. Don't do the wide receiver style screens. We haven't executed it in a game yet. So give it a rest. That's me. But then we had us Haynes 75-yard TD. And this is when the game, every time Nebraska punched back, Michigan had an answer for it. So Nebraska could never feel like they were in control of this game. Even when they tied it up at the end of the half. Straight out of halftime, Michigan gets a field goal. So Michigan had control of this game pretty much the whole time. And Nebraska was trying to fight back, claw back. Okay, now we got a chance. And then Michigan would hit them again. Like, all right, y'all ain't giving up. All right, bet. We gonna keep punching. We gonna keep punching. We ain't used to losing to y'all, so we gonna keep punching until we knock you out. So that's what happened. But shout out to Nebraska, they never gave up. So Haynes had the 75-yard TD. Then Zavada had a field goal that was after half. And something me and my nephew were noticing, and because he played college football. We're not throwing, at this point, this is like mid-third quarter, late third quarter, almost fourth quarter. We don't throw across the middle. We don't throw deep middle. We don't make those throws. Like, that's when the offense is truly going to open up. Like, because we're not throwing over the middle really at all. We're not throwing really any go routes. Everything's rollout to the edge. That's all we're throwing right now. So what this offense can be, they're still bringing it along slow for Bryce. Partly because they don't want him to make mistakes, reading deep coverage, I'm thinking, and he'll make a mistake and throw a pick that he should have seen, but he's too young. So they're bringing him along slow, but the offense was starting to get stagnant, and you could see it because it was coming. It becomes too predictable with nothing but rollouts to either side of the field and nothing but screens to either side of the field and just running the ball. Then my boy Marshall, and I thought early in the game, I was like, this seems like a game for Marshall also. Like, this seems like this is a tough Big Ten game. And Jordan Marshall runs like a tough Big Ten running back, Haynes does too, because he laid some hits himself, honestly. Haynes did too. But Jordan Marshall is a real physical runner. And then Jordan Marshall gets the ball, goes 50. Hello. Law and order. I got to get a gavel. Law and order. Order in the court. Order. I got to get a gavel for my boys. Law and order. So we saw it. 50 yards right there. And this is where I have a little problem with what Chip Lindsey was doing. So or I guess you would say Tony Alford, either one. So after that 50-yard TD, we come right back out, and it's 3 passes. Like, bro, Jordan Marshall is probably over there fiending to get the ball again. Feed him. He might close the game out from there. Keep feeding this brother. He just took 150. Go on and let's see if he's hot. Let's see if this offensive line is ready to finish this game and they want to block for him today. You know, sometimes it's like, man, it's like when this guy's in, it's good things are happening. So keep feeding him. Don't let him go 50 and then he don't touch it again until late in the fourth. You know? So that's what happened with that. You know, he went 50 and then they 3 straight runs. 3 straight passes. Don't go away from it. It's working. So we get the ball back, and we go down the field running the ball. We're trying to milk the clock at this point. I think there's like 11, 12 minutes left, and we're just running Haynes, running Marshall. Bryce is making some runs, making a few little throws, and we're milking the clock. So that was good, and the only thing I didn't like about that drive was how we finished. We get to like the 5 and second and third down. They run Bryce they run QB power to the edge with Bryce. Then they run it they run it to the right side. Then they run it to the left side, and we just didn't get in the end zone. I think if Bryce really takes off, I think he thought that block was going to hold on third down, and he was going to be able to cut it back. But if he goes around that edge, he probably scores. But on that, Haynes and Marshall were eating, and they're tough runners. Go on and hand that ball off to them. I think one of them might have got in, but you know, that's the recliner coach in me. So it might not have worked, but I would have liked to have seen one of them touch the ball. But after that, you had the long drive by Nebraska with the time kind of running out, and they end up getting a touchdown. Brandon Hillman is knocking dudes in the next week, and then he's still not all the way there. Like sometimes our defense just they look too much, and they're not thinking. They're not. I don't want to say that the wrong way. Their eye discipline isn't all the way there, and they're not thinking before the play. Nebraska wasn't going to run that ball down there because they're trying to conserve the clock. So it's a little play action, and they throw it to the tight end in the flat. Brandon Hillman is late, and they score the touchdown. Then they kick the onside kick, and shout out to Kendrick Bell. This might have been the biggest play of the game because that onside kick was on the money. That onside kick was on the money. Oh my God. He kicked that great bounce. And Kendrick Bell goes up and give me that. We ain't losing this one. Oh, thank God. You is Ronnie, brother. Yeah, I was doubting for a minute if you like him, but you like him. Yeah, you like him. I want to see Kendrick Bell get a pass or two next game just for that. Because that was big time. Because if Nebraska gets that ball back, we're probably going to lose. I ain't going to front. So, that was kind of the game. Well, that was the game. And then, before I say that, because we get the ball back from the onside kick. We get the onside kick, and Nebraska still has 2 timeouts. So, Jordan Marshall on, I think, third down, goes around the edge, and he could have took it 50. And honestly, if he did, I wouldn't have been mad at him because I wanted to feel comfortable with a 10-point win. Honestly, I wouldn't have been mad at him if he took that 50. But he does the smart thing, gets the first down, and goes and, drops down, So that was the game. We take 3 knees, take the 2 knees, and then we're out of there. But I wouldn't have minded if he went 50, especially how he's been struggling. But he's a smart football player, and he puts the team first, So shout out to Jordan Marshall for making that big play of getting around the edge, because if he doesn't get that first down, Nebraska will get the ball back with a chance to have me over here screaming and hollering and raving and ranting, and I'm talking bad about everybody. I'm about to go nuclear. But thankful, shout out to Jordan Marshall for making a big time play to finish that game off, so Nebraska doesn't have a chance. He cut their water off. Law and order is in session. But this was a big time win for Michigan because it's a young team. Well, it's young in certain parts. You know, they're still trying to galvanize their leadership and come together, and you can see it because offensively, you don't really have any proven wide receivers that you can go to and lean on. You know, they're still trying to find themselves with what they want to do with Bryce and how Chip Lindsey wants to play call this offense with what we have. So it's still young because of that. You know, defensively, they're still trying. Wink is still trying to figure out who he wants where, who's actually progressing, who's struggling, and who needs to be in the lineup and the rotation. Shout out to Rod Moore. We saw Rod Moore in the game and get a few snaps. I didn't see him much in the second half, I don't think, but it's the TV copy. You can't see what the safeties are doing half the time. But shout out to him. Rod Moore's out there. I saw him make a tackle. Shout out to Marcus for pointing that out in the group chat. But yeah, this was a tough win for Michigan. And, you know, I know Matt Rule wanted this win bad, but you ain't going to get it on us. You're going to have to wait for that big time win, boy. We ain't afraid of y'all. We ain't afraid of y'all. We ain't afraid of you, Nebraska. But that's a big time win. Like, to really, for Bryce and some of these young players to get a big time road win under their belt. Nebraska was undefeated. Yeah, they hadn't played anybody that good, but that's a pretty good football team. But I'm not going to lie. Michigan kept them in this game. Like, if the score was 40 to 17, it wouldn't have surprised me. The way that game played out, kind of. Like, Michigan should have really dominated them, but certain mistakes, certain bad calls, and errors kept Nebraska in this game, and they capitalized on those mistakes. So shout out to them. But this was a good win. Michigan gets the win without Sharon Moore, and we get into the bye week with a chance to get some guys back on the offensive line, some guys back in the secondary, and get healthy, and also add a little more to what we're doing with Bryce. Because Bryce didn't run it much in this game. Let's I'm gonna go over some of these stats and then we're gonna get out of here, y'all. So let's see. Nebraska had more touchdowns more first downs than Michigan. 16 to 23 going to Nebraska. But Michigan had big plays. Michigan had more big plays. More Michigan's run game seems to be a big play run game. But it seems like they're starting to get more consistent in it. So let's see. Rushing yards. Michigan goes for 286 to Nebraska's 43 rushing yards. Passing yards, Bryce Underwood 105. Like I said, they probably left 100 yards on the field because they can't catch. Whether it's an easy throw or a hard throw. Besides the tight end, them wide receivers, they struggling to catch that ball consistently. Dylan Raiola had 308. Total yards, Michigan 391. Nebraska 351. Sacks. 7 sacks for Michigan, and it could have been 10 or 11, honestly. And 1 sack for Nebraska. Dylan Raiola also threw 1 interception. And then Bryce had the fumble. Time of possession, 26 minutes, Michigan, 33 for Nebraska. And that's mainly because Michigan had big plays. You know, they didn't have that many consistent drives to eat up the clock. But Michigan had those big plays. Every time Nebraska tried to fight back, boom, big run play. You know? So, let's see. Bryce Underwood was 12 of 22 for 105 and a sack. And that's mainly because of drops. That's mainly, the drops are killing his numbers because he ain't getting that many He ain't getting that many opportunities to throw the ball. Samaj Morgan also, we did a throwback screen, and McCulley was wide open, and Samaj just missed him. He tried to throw it on the run. Bro, come on, little Maj. You about 5'8". You can't throw it on the run. You ain't got no cannon like that. You got to set your feet and throw it, because McCulley was wide open, you know. And then the next play, Goodwin drops a touchdown. So those two plays were big, you know. Justice Haynes, 17 carries for 149. Every game, this dude is taking 175. Every game. So shout out to him. That boy he gets in the open field and he is saying good night. And shout out to Jordan Marshall. Jordan Marshall could have had 125 yards or something. But he chose to do what's right for the team, and he goes down. But he had 6 carries for 80 yards. So shout out to him. 13.3 yards a carry, a long of 54, and Justice Haynes, 8.8 yards a carry. That's law and order right there. Order in the court. Order in the court. And Bryce Underwood chipped in with 8 carries for 61 yards in the TD. Long of 37, averaging 7.6. Running that ball down they throat. How you want it? How you want it? McCulley led us with 3 receptions for 39 yards. A long of 17. He was targeted 7 times, 3 catches. Samaj, 2 for 22. Long of 16, 4 targets. Marlon Klein, 2 targets, 2 catches. You know. Shannon Goodwin, 5 targets for Shannon Goodwin. 1 catch for 5 yards. He got to get better or he can't be on the field. Like, this is the thing, and then we're going to get out of here. This is the thing about playing receiver when your quarterback is trying to be a game manager and be efficient. That's what they need Bryce to be. We can't risk you dropping crucial passes because we're not going to pass that much. You have to catch the ball, bro. Like, we can't afford for you to drop passes. We just can't afford it because we're not going to throw the ball that much. So you dropped a touchdown. You dropped a first down. You've dropped a pass in every game. You a pass dropping mom. Let me stop. He's a young player. But we can't afford it right now. We're trying to win. So we've played 4 games and you've dropped at least 1 or 2 passes in every game. We can't afford it. You got to sit down. But this isn't the end for you. We know you can get open. Are you going to get in that practice facility and hit that jug machines until your hands is raw? That's all you got to do. Ain't no excuse. You're a receiver. If it touches your hands, catch the ball. Go hit the jug machine. When you get back to Michigan, you don't go to sleep. Don't call your girlfriend. You call Bryce, say you want to go throw. Bryce says, nah, bro, I got something to do. Not tonight. Okay, I'm going to the jug machine all day. All day. That's all I think about is the jug machine. And I set it to the highest level because my quarterback has a howitzer. So I set it to the highest level, knowing he gonna throw that rock as hard as he can most of the time. So I'm gonna be prepared for it. That's what you got to do. That's all you got to do. Put the work in, put the hours in on that jug machine. It's only over for you, and you only gonna get dropped to the bottom of that depth chart if you don't make adjustments to your game. Get better. Hit that jug machine. I don't want to hear no excuses for it. I just want to see you. Not going to happen again, coach. I won't drop another one. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. Put the work in. You dropping passes, guess what? That means your route running is real nice. You getting open, but you're dropping everything. Get on that jug machine, and you need to get close to it. As high as it can go. Get right up on it. Bow. That's what you got to do. Or you gon' because you got a problem. And when you start pretty soon, and you might already be doing it, you're thinking about it. Don't want to drop this pass. Don't want to drop this pass. Drop. Can't drop this pass. Can't drop this pass. Whoop. Can't drop this pass. Can't drop this pass. Through your hands. That's what happens. You can't think out there you can't think bad thoughts. And if you can continually get beat or you continually drop passes, you're going to start thinking about it. Put the work in. Hit the facility, get on that jug machine. Improve your hands. Or you're going to drop down that depth chart because ain't no point of putting you out there. You can get open, but you can't catch. So that's the thing. Shout out to Sanders, true freshman. He's slick balling at corner. A blessing in disguise because he's balling. He's balling. We thought it was Shamari Earls. We saw Shamari Earls get in on that last drive from Nebraska, but he got called for a penalty. He was grabbing, He hasn't played that much, so he's probably still a little bit rusty, and he panicked. He panicked and grabbed the receiver, and it was a big-time penalty at that time. So, but shout out to Sanders because, I was worried when he got in the game against Oklahoma, but he's been consistently playing well. He's flying up, making good tackles, so shout out to him. I want to give him his flowers, while I can and while he's balling. Let's hope he continues to ball. But that's about it for this one, y'all. Michigan escaped out of Nebraska. Defensive line, Wink. I got to give it to Wink. Most of Wink's calls were good. The only problem was when we weren't executing, whether a player was missing a tackle, whether it was miscommunication or a guy was doing something stupid to continue a drive. Like, Hillman, you can't be taunting, bro. You can't be doing these taunts and all this stuff. Some of y'all got to calm down. I'm seeing way too much taunting and stuff before the game is all the way over. I'm seeing too much of it. Y'all got to chill out. Y'all, there's an arrogance on this team that I don't quite like. It's an arrogance and a cockiness that y'all haven't earned yet. You haven't earned the right to be that cocky yet. You got to keep building brick by brick. You ain't built up the brick house to be cocky like y'all are. Y'all got to chill out. They got to chill out with that stuff. And offensively, I think Chip Lindsey's still figuring out how he wants to work. Offensive line played pretty well. They started a little sluggish, but they picked it up. And by the end of the game, we were doing kind of what we wanted to do with the run game. We weren't really trying to pass like that, but the run game was doing what it needed to do, and they kind of knew we were going to run, and we were still getting good yardage. So I think Chip Lindsey's going to keep, over this bye week, he's going to continue to add more stuff to Bryce's plate and see what he's more comfortable with and see what he needs to do to tweak this offense. And it's just, I think this offense is at like 60% of what it could be right now. Maybe 70%, So you just want to keep getting Bryce more comfortable and keep opening the playbook, expanding the playbook for him. But that's a good win. That's a good win. I didn't want Dylan Rayola to be cocky and get a win on us. So shout out to the team for not letting them do that. And we on to the bye week, y'all. So like, share, subscribe. And as always, go blue.